It can capture life, presence. It can become some sort of incarnated philosophy. Film could think life, and philosophy could only think thought. So probably if people from outer space came here in, millennia or whatever, and they would see films, they would be incredibly impressed about this need of ourselves to know more about ourselves, living our own lives and wanting to see it, which shows such a deep degree of this need to know who we are. When I started watching films, I was 17, like what I consider films. And I remember, and this is almost like a cliche nowadays, but by a pure chance, the first film I ever saw, which was not pure entertainment, was Nostalghia by Tarkovsky. And I do remember that it was just an incredible feeling and a complete new passage that opened in front of me, where basically the emotion came from everything I could hear and see, and just seeing time unfold and the movement of the camera, or the stains on walls, humidity, rather than the storytelling itself, which I appreciate very much, but mostly in literature, not necessarily in film. So that was really like a new landscape for me. I need to share. So we can share a simple good morning, which is a way of sharing, or look at that mountain, and we can make films, and it all belongs to the same sphere. Actually, it's all the same drive, the same reason. If there weren't any more humans, I wouldn't make films. Why do I make them? Who do I make them for? For whomever wants to share this kind of films, whomever feels moved by what I try to express. So I think this idea of a public is just an abstraction of commerce. You cannot really ever talk about a public, because it's only individuals in the end that watch a film on their own inside and experience the film deep inside. So no film is for everybody, and almost no film is disliked by everybody. So the amount of, the numbers is just something that is in the end a triviality for me. I do things with my taste, with my feeling, and I just know that other humans will relate to it, and the numbers are secondary. I really enjoy every part of the filmmaking process. Thinking about the film, reading, for me it's very important to travel and see the places, starting to cast, see the people, because my films are very much connected to location and real people rather than studios. There's much traveling, much moving around, much hearing, listening, observing, that I really love. But I love shooting too. I like even building the tracks for the dolly, the physical part of the filming. I love the actors, working with the actors, working with the crew. I'm a very social person in one hand, and then I also need the space for myself. So this in the film process, you are very lonely sometimes, and then overcrowded some other times. But all these are fine for me, and I probably could say I'm very, very keen on the sound. That's probably the part I love the most. The mix, the design of sound, and then the mixing of the sound is probably my favorite process. But just slightly, I really like every single part of film procedures. Just be the more authentic you can. Find your own vision. Find your own ways. Develop your own system. All artists in the end develop their own methods and ways of working, even at the very practical levels, and just be brave. Always be brave. Always look inside, be authentic, and be brave. In music, there's so many. Basically, music and painting, there's so many. In painting overall, I really love romanticism in general terms, but I enjoy, for example, and immensely, now that we're here, the Hudson River Valley School, American painters of the 19th century. There were amazing painters all across the country. And looking to old paintings and neoclassicism and this kind of thing has always been a source of great solace and emotion for me. In film, yeah, well, I mentioned Tarkovsky, of course. Dreyer, I could talk about of Abel Ferrara as well. And Nuri Bilge Ceylan, the Turkish guy today. For example, someone rarely people talk about is Carlos Saura, the Spaniard, but all the films he made before 1975, until Cría Cuervos included, and the ones from La Casa, the Hunt, the beginning. It's like 5 or 6 films, which are amazing. Amazing. I saw them when I started making films, and I just wanted to see all of them. And then Werner Herzog and Fassbinder were very important. They are influences. And Navas Kiarostami in this sense of presence that you've heard me talk about. Life unfolding, the idea of seeing things alive and present rather than as tools for storytelling. So all these people are very important. Navas Kiarostami is a major master. And Manuel de Oliveira, for sure, as well. I know this is a vision. Everything will disappear eventually. That is important to remember because there's too great a keenness in wanting to transcend. And it's all an illusion in a way. But I just want to be authentic in whatever I do. If it remains for a while, I'll be happy. If you want, probably, if I would needed to add a concept to this idea of how to be remembered, it would be just to show individual vision. You know, that each one of us has his own vision, and that we have to find our own voice, and each voice is always original, rather than wanting to be the good illustrator of a good system that already exists as a pre-structure. I want to show that we can all find our own ways of expressing. That's I think, the most important thing for me. Authenticity in the end. That's how I'd like to be remembered, as an authentic person that had his own vision and managed to put it together so it could be shared with others. Well, it's not only important; it's a huge privilege. It is a basic thing to have a good theater to see films in any film school. To have such a good one is a huge privilege, and I wish that I would see the hunger for whatever you could show here more present. It is the time to watch films. When you're a student, you're living great times, and you have to use your time usefully. I really wish people were watching films all day long, 2 or 3 every day while they're students, or 1 at least every day. But not only the things you're being fed, and platforms on television and all that, because this world is so vast. And there's such great things in the history of cinema that are passing unnoticed because of the penetrating power of all these new platforms. So I really think people should be here in the cinema every day, eating popcorn or whatever they want, but watching films as much as they could. That is really the best school, the best teaching and the best learning you could have. Watch films, discuss, talk, engage. That's all you need, actually. All the rest, the technique in cinema is so simple. It's all in a manual. You don't need to do much. You just need to watch films and talk and develop your own taste. And to be intuitive, you have to have a taste. And to have a taste, you need to know. You cannot have a taste for food, for example, if you only know hamburgers. But if you know food and you are a good chef, you have to know all sorts of plants, all sorts of meats, if you're into meat, whatever. The more you eat, the more you get to know, the more you will be able to develop your own taste, and you will be able to decide on your own grounds what is there to be shot, shown, thought, discussed, written, etc.